All right, guys, welcome back. Let's get into it. I've had a lot of questions this week regarding our middles and our edge position, especially around some certain price points, around 550, 600K mark. But we'll go through all of the guys that I think you should be targeting this week. And we'll start off with our mids and right up top there. And we'll go through the couple of guys in my side that we have. And someone like Tohu Harris and Angus Crichton, can't really split them too much. I think Tohu's probably just got the edge this week. You know, he's slightly higher in price, but has the best buy schedule. Crichton should be playing in the Origin over the Origin period, so he misses out on a game there. And if they're going to be averaging similar around that low 60s mark, then I think Tohu edges Crichton out just slightly there. Yeah, but Watson's a great option if you don't have him, but I'd imagine most people do in our mids. And then moving over to the right hand side there with Payne Haas, and an average of 62, he's still dropping in price, so I think you can give him a week or two if you have the opportunity to pick him up this week. And you already have someone like Papali'i, I think he's going to score great. He's going to be in the mid 60s, high 60s somewhere there, and do really well for his side. So he's going to be a good option there. Papali'i, I think, is now officially a buy. I'm gonna give in. I'm gonna say it. But for him to get more game time on this edge, and he's going to be playing round 13, I think you just get him in now. There's a great chance that he is a keeper. Obviously, he's averaging 70 right now, but I don't think he's going to be able to maintain that. I'm expecting something in the mid-50s. And being middle and edge and having that duel, I think, is really handy. And playing that first buy, I think you just get him in now if you can. So he's a really cool option there. Cam Murray, I think you can hold off of. He did score well on the weekend. And, people have been complaining about him, and he's averaging 57. So it's crazy what 1 week can do for someone averaging around 50 and sort of lost you a tiny bit of cash. But he will play Origin. I think you can hold off on him at this stage. Mitch Barnett is also someone I think you can hold off on. Don't really feel like at 689, he's going to be too worth it. They do play the first buy round, I believe, so it could be helpful that way. I think if you've got him, you're holding on. If you haven't got him, you're probably just letting him go at this stage. Alex Suarel also plays at round 13 buy, so he could be a very interesting option for you in your squad at the moment. It's just the worry of the amount of minutes he gets. He did score 50 on the weekend. He had a 30-odd a couple of weeks ago in amongst a couple of big scores. So up and down a little bit there, but slightly underpriced at this current stage based on his average of 54, which puts him over 700K. So doesn't have the dual position, but is a good option if you need a strong mid. It will be like a lower level keeper for you in your team for the rest of the season. Isaiah Yeo, no. Carrigan, no. Papali'i, no. Adam Elliott, I think, is an okay option, but at 56, at an average of 56. But I think his earlier scores with those tries is what got him up there, and he's around that 50-point, 48-point player, so I don't think he's a keeper over the long term unless he scores a few more tries, which he probably will. But in a dog's team that's not amazing, I think he just had a really good start to the year. Pangai Jr., I think you can sit out on and not worry about picking up at this stage. If he happens to keep playing 80 minutes, then that could be an interesting thing for him because, depends what his impact's like. Because when he has the shorter minutes, his impact's usually bang, he's on and he's trying to kill people and smash it. They're offloading for fun and tackle busting. When he's playing on the edge, it wasn't as much. He obviously did get a try on the weekend, three turnover tackles. So if he can keep that up, then yeah, but I don't think he will be able to. Brighton Sutton is a really interesting one at the moment, but I'd be worried with the Raiders team with how much things have changed over this last couple of weeks. So for him, I'd be holding off at this stage, given he's already gained a lot in his price. So yeah, that's where I'm at with Sutton. I think he's going to score pretty well though. So if you need him, you can. Nathan Brown at an average of 49.7. It's been really low, and if you have a look at, let's have a look at his actual scores from last year because I've spoken about a few times what he was like and the types of things that he can do. 644, was that wrong? No, that's right. Wow, that's low. He's gotten real low. But let's look to last year, and you see over the start of last year, does this help us at all? 31, 44, 59, a 31, and a 43 with an 83 mixed in there with an 80-minute roll. So you can tell that he did start fairly slow last year as well, and as the year went on, he tended to score much better. You got games here, 60 to 70 minutes, 65 minutes was kind of the standard with a low score of 50 in there. So for him, he could go on a run, and if he starts to pick up his scoring around, I'd say round 10 or 11, coming into that buy round, I think he could be a really good option and end up being a keeper and one of those guys that you're like, wow, that was a pretty good pickup, and at worst, he's going to be averaging around that 50. So you're not really dying out, but there's a chance that he goes to the next level. So that's that there. I wouldn't be touching Clemmer or Trebojevic at the moment. Same with Fitzharris, Saifidi. I wouldn't go there. For the week, Takeaho, if he's out for multiple weeks, then you can trade him out. But it looks like it might only be a week because he's been named this week. Luke Thompson, I think, is a nice solid option at 608k. You're pricing him in the low 40s there, mid to low 40s, and with that kind of price, I think he's going to be averaging around 50, 55. If you can get to 55, you pretty much locked him in as a keeper, like a David Clemmer type player, if that is a decent cover for you. But he's not going to be able to score a try each week. If you can get those big minutes, 55 to 60 minutes, I think he's going to be a cool player and a decent option for your side. Paulo, no. Welch, I'd probably, if you haven't got him at this stage, I'll be holding off, picking him up. We're getting into that kind of range that people are asking about. Maguire's not an option. Vaughan's not an option. Tavanga's still an option if you are interested. I think Lindsay Collins is a very interesting one too. He should be playing Origin though, which is a bit of an issue going forward. Corey Horsburgh, I'm really interested to see what happens with him if he ends up turning himself into a starter like he was last year, because he did score really well and he's very underpriced at 566 if he gets 50 odd minutes there. So he's someone to keep an eye on, but I wouldn't be targeting him this week. As you can tell with a lot of these guys, there's not a lot of great options in this sort of 500k mark. Offang Yao is playing a bit better. Lisa Name I wouldn't pick up now. Who else we got there? It's a lot of just names here, guys. So, it's a bit of a worry if you're looking to pick up these types of guys. Surely, if you're looking to pick up a guy in 500-600, you can just play one of your Alvaros, your Oitukamanus, Spencer Laney if you have to. Like these types of guys, you can just play in your starter team. You should have enough cover in this position. And now having Schuster in the edge position as well, I feel like those guys should be able to cover enough across this position here. Who else we got in here? Lodge. People ask me about Lodge, and for him, I think he just needs more minutes to score. Well, he's done really well in terms of PPM the last few games, but there's every chance that he, in 38 minutes that he got last week, that he picks up a 35, and at 400k, it's a bit of a waste. Bunty Afoa, I wouldn't be looking to touch him at this stage. Even Murdoch Wasilla, he's starting this week, but he's a no. Musgrove, no. Now we're getting to the real cheapies, and none of these guys are really options. Olaka Yoatu, sorry. 299k off the bench last week. He might come off the bench again. I'd probably just hold off on him. So that's all the mid options at this stage. Let me move to the edge. And obviously, if you haven't got guys like Schuster, Fafita, who else have I got on the edge? That's about all, right? Yeah, didn't have any cover until this week. If you haven't got guys like that, then the few others you could look at. Madison, poor bloke sitting there, not playing any games. Frizz, a lot of people asking me about. I think I'd personally take Leilua over Frizz. Leilua plays the first round 13 bye, and I think he's a really cool option for your side. And he hasn't really had a lot of attacking stats, and for him to average 57 without scoring a try or anything yet, I think is he's a really good option for a lot of teams. And Hudson Young's also scoring well, averaging 60 still over the first bunch of weeks, and he was someone that did get to keep his spot in the team. So he's also a decent option. Murray, I'd say to hold off Elliott. Showing me a few guys here to talk about. Capewell, I think you should hold this week. Garner's not an option. Sims not an option. There's not a lot there, right? Talakai, I'd be waiting a bunch of weeks, and hopefully he picks up a starting spot again because he was amazing last week. And if you can get him in the 400s, I think he'll be a cool option. Glenn Wright done. Tupanua, I think again is a hold this week. Not a buy-in at all. Murchie, same thing. Take Wilton if you had him and you're making some cash. Well done. Other than that, guys, yeah, just not a lot going on. The only ones we'll probably want to talk about is Josh Curran at 290k, 292 there. We better have a look at him. Did he play many games last year? I can't remember now. I only played a couple, did he? Yeah. But yeah, just minutes wasn't there. He's got a game the back end of 2019 with 32 minutes for 27, 32 minutes for 19, 14 for 13, 19 minutes for 33. 13 for 15, 28 for 14. So the majority of these games are very high PPM. You can see 0.86 there. And if he's playing high minutes on the edge at 292, then he's an awesome trade-in target. At 4.41%, really good pod. Point of difference player for those that have been asking me. And yeah, just the thing with him is the fact that they're changing their team a lot, and will he be able to keep those minutes going, long term? And And as I said, I really like him as a player, and I think he's a really cool option as a backup edge player. You could even play him on the interchange, but there's any week here he could be dropped back, and the thing is, if there's some injuries, then it increases his likelihood of playing better minutes and then more game time and getting better scores. But sorry, I just got distracted by this 8 missed tackles in 2019. So scary. But yeah, a really good player, and I think he's going to score well in your team if he gets those minutes. So it could be worth taking a gamble if you need someone in that position. But there you go, guys. That's the middle and the edge position. I hope that helps. Obviously, there's not a lot of guys in that middle range, and that's probably why you're asking me the question. I think it's not worth just putting in one of those guys for the sake of it. Just deal with playing Oitikamanu or Alvaro or Fulmayano or whoever you got in there. Just keep playing them for now. Wait till a good option comes up in there as a cash cow, or just going straight to a gun, I think is more important. Obviously spoke about a bunch of the guns there, and there's plenty there. In this team here in the people squad, we've got Crichton, Fafita, Harris, even Watson. We could say is a gun at this stage. So Schuster's averaging 50 in the edge. So a lot of guys in our teams right now that are doing well, but there's a bunch more that we could pick up that are playing in that round 13 bye, for example. So look to target them rather than going in mid-range. And that's all my thoughts on this one, guys. So hope you enjoyed that. We'll see you in the next one. Please like and subscribe, and we'll go from there. Bye, guys.